Two London drug dealers have been jailed for 17 years each. Now, the two London dealers attempted to further their drug empire by securing Taurus's self-loading pistols. The aim was to get a clutch of weaponry and use it to protect their stash, kilos of Class B weed and also kilos of Class A white, and to also ensure that no other gangsters or dealers were caught doing business in their part of the capital. Now, the drug market is one filled with robbery, blackmail, scrapping, and even killing rivals. We've seen it happen time and time again, and probably nothing would change until the end of time. 48-year-old South London gangster and dealer McNeil Colly, who was considered a boss in his own right, and fellow pal 35-year-old Keston Redhead, had made provisions to secure GUNs after placing an order with people in America, Florida specifically, where of course it's not illegal to have GUNs. In order to try and get away with the crime, McNeil and Keston had used a fake name and also put a fake delivery address on the shipping order. The delivery address was actually an abandoned building, which was in view of their home in Streatham. The Taurus had been shipped and had arrived into the UK on July 7th of 2023. Now, the item had been shipped in a metal container, a safe box. Border control officers at Standard Airport had intercepted that package after wondering why on earth would a safe box be shipped to the UK. Now, the package was taken and the lock was broken. The safe box was then opened. In brand new condition, border control officers found a pistol and also 2 mags inside. The item caught officers off guard. Now, criminals normally hide their contraband inside teddies or packages or boxes of bananas or other items, but rarely has criminals been so silly that they had a pistol shipped in its original packaging. Now, once the items were seized, the National Crime Agency got involved and it signalled right there and then the beginning of the end of McNeil Colly and Keston Redhead. Their criminal empire was about to be disbanded because the NCA then found out not only was the two gangsters trying to import GUNs, but they were also big-time dealers. Furthermore, Keston was an asylum seeker at the time whom had come to the UK for a better life, so his conviction would ultimately mean that after serving his jail sentence, he would have to be put back on a plane and then be sent back on a one-way trip back to Trinidad and Tobago, where he's from. Now, when the NCA launched the investigation, they looked at the unique tracking number that was on the packaging of the safe box. Officers were then able to enter the unique tracking number into a computer and was able to find people whom had searched that number. The IP addresses then flagged up. Now, once an IP address flags up, it's unique to a computer. So, anytime someone accesses the internet, the IP address pings for that location, and it happened to ping, and the location was Streatham. Officers then noted that the address belonged to McNeil, and McNeil was a man already known to police for previous stealing offences. It also turned out that McNeil had been logging onto his computer to check the GUN's arrival while it was in transit every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Now, because police had McNeil's address, both men were then put under surveillance. Their home, their car, and the usual stomping ground was infiltrated by police. Every moment was detailed and noted down. Now, fast forward to August 1st of 2023. This was just 5 days after the GUN had been seized. Plainclothes officers from the Organised Crime Partnership and the Metropolitan Police Service Unit watched as McNeil Colly left his Streatham flat. Keston followed behind, and then they watched as both men got into McNeil's car. Despite McNeil and Keston not receiving the pistol, despite the fact that it should have arrived into the UK, the two men's intuition did not work. Their senses did not tingle. The gangsters and dealers had fought because they had used a fake name on the delivery address and also wanted the GUN shipped to a derelict and abandoned building. The men had safely distanced themselves from the crime, so normal business ensued. Now, once in the car, McNeil drove to meet the delivery driver on an A road. Then McNeil took control of a package. McNeil got no more than a few hundred meters down the road before police units had boxed in McNeil's car. Now, with no way to outmaneuver the half a dozen police cars that surrounded him in front and in back and to the right, McNeil pulled over. Immediately, as the car had rolled to a stop, police officers had exited their car and swamped McNeil and Keston. They were told to get out of the car right now and keep your hands where I can see them. Their hands were then placed behind their back before being placed in handcuffs securely. Now, from the look of their faces, McNeil Colly had no idea that he was the subject of a major crime investigation. As for Keston Redhead, he looked absolutely peed off. Now, police officers searched the car and they found a wooden desk organizer. When the base was taken off, hidden inside was half a kilo of high purity Class A white. The strength percentage was said to be in the high 80s. Now, police noted that the Class A had actually been imported from Trinidad and Tobago. That was Keston's home country. Now, both men, of course, were then taken straight into police custody, where they were interviewed numerous times. Now, when the dealers' mobile phones were taken in to be examined, analysis showed that McNeil and Keston had been in contact with each other on a daily basis, and their criminal activity was well documented in the messages that were still on the phone. Both men had communicated over message platforms and systematically planned to buy GUNs in case anyone tried to mess with them or tried to steal or rob their Class A and Class B, and also made arrangements to collect at least 3 kilos of white. The items were coming in from countries like USA and Trinidad, both of them. Now, messages between the two dealers also showed an invoice for the metallic safe box, the shipping label for the package containing the pistol, and details of when to transfer the money to the overseas account. Now, because McNeil and Keston were so oblivious and blind to the fact that the gang life and drug culture and running an operation in this size has an expiration date. You can only do for so long before you are going to be put under investigation and then caught and then jailed. The two men further incriminated themselves by keeping messages stored on their phones, but they also exchanged pictures of pistols, vacuum sealed kilos, blocks of white. Now, after the arrest, police then conducted a search on McNeil's Streatham flat, and the search uncovered large blades like samurais and machetes, and also a bow hidden away in the bedroom. 8 kilos of weed was also found, and it had already been pre-packaged and ready to sell on a commercial scale. Now, the investigation also revealed that McNeil and Keston was not your low-level dealers. They were in the field of commercial sales, big-time profits. Now, what they would do is they would buy kilos of Class A, break it down, and then use paraphernalia and the mechanical press that was in McNeil's home. They would then use it to double the volume of Class A, which meant that their profit margins were soaring. When McNeil Colly and Keston Redhead appeared at Kingston Crown Court, the weight and seriousness of their crimes were outlined by the judge for the jury to hear. Both men were found guilty of importation of pistols and also drug, and also with intent to supply on a commercial scale, and both of them were told that they would be jailed for 17 years each. Now, Keston was also told that once he completes his jail sentence, he can look forward to returning back to his home country, Trinidad and Tobago. Does the crime match the sentence? Let me know. Stay safe.